Yeah.
Welcome to BS Draftcast, where we are Brandon and Steven, and we're going to be covering the Monday night games with the two games that we now have the Steelers and the Buffalo Bills, and the Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Steven, glad to have you on. It's been a couple hours since you've been on with us. Uh, Obviously, we did our morning video. How about them Cowboys and the breakdown that we had of that Cowboys game going into it, how we hit it right on the head?
Yeah, man, it's been a complete dismantlement of the Cowboys by the Packers on both sides of the ball. Dak Prescott is having a really bad game. He stayed in strong there for a while, but yeah, what we talked about pretty much a lot of it we hit on. Getting Aaron Jones rolling, using that play action, getting Romeo Dobbs and all those young receivers they have involved. Yeah, it's just been a really uh, blowout of a game, really.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't even been close. I mean, 14-0 to start, then 20-0, and then the Dallas goes down and scores 27-0, then Dallas goes down and scores seven. So I mean, it's just been an absolute nuke fest on the Packers side, which is amazing. I love to see it. Everyone knows I'm not a Dallas fan, but man, it's actually crazy that the game isn't even a contest. I actually thought that Dallas might have a shot, but I was full confident in the Green Bay Packers +7 pick, but I didn't think it was going to be like this. That's for damn sure.
No, no, they've really just they've laid a beating on him, man. Like I said, defense played really well. They gave up some plays against Dallas, and Dak and them were starting to get some traction. But like the once they would start to build momentum, the Green Bay offense would come out and drive down the field and score on them again and just kill off their momentum. So I mean, it's just been Green Bay all game.
Right. Absolutely. Um, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but people need to put some respect on the picks that we're putting out. I mean, you figure we are 18-1 since last Friday, which is mind blowing. And I am gonna change up the pick for this afternoon. I might try and double dip on it, but we'll get into that at the end. With that being said, let's head over to the 4:15 game or 4:30 game that got moved to Monday because of the New York governor, I think she is, moving the game, saying that there's a travel ban, blah blah blah, whatever. Um, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Buffalo. What's your thoughts of going forward with this game? Key injuries, obviously we know the big one, T.J. Watt, um, and we spoke on this just previously on our video from Saturday. But what's your outcome? What's your outlook on this game? The over under has moved to 38.5. The it opened up at 42.5. So everyone's anticipating bad weather still in the spread, or the points have obviously gone down because they don't think it's going to be very high scoring at all. But what's your outlook on this game? What's your thoughts?
We did hit on it a little bit. I honestly believe that if Pittsburgh's able to establish the run with Najee and Jalen Warren, and they're able to pound the ball and run the ball better than Buffalo on their end, because Buffalo it could play in the Steelers' advantage if the weather's really bad, because then that takes away the ability, for the most part, theoretically, to throw the ball. So Josh Allen will have to use his legs. James Cook will have to use, they'll have to hand the ball off to him a good bit and try to get him involved and get him churning up yards. But I think if it comes to like a smash mouth type of game, I think that it could really benefit Pittsburgh, depending on the weather and everything. And on the Bills side too, they have a big injury. Gabe Davis is not playing, so that's a huge injury for them as well.
Yeah, right, right. And obviously Rasul Douglas, their number one corner, is questionable. Also, I mean, so and he has a knee injury, so I don't know how good he's feeling, how that knee's holding up. I mean, look at Jair Alexander today. They were saying he was 50-50 and not 100%, and I mean, he's looked great today. So you never know when it comes to them type of injuries being game time or whatnot. Um, but when it comes to the Pittsburgh and Buffalo, I mean, obviously everyone still thinks it's going to be a blowout. Buffalo's going to dog walk them, everything else. But when I look at this game, if the weather is still going to be bad, like they're anticipating, I mean, what better way to shorten a game than run the ball? And that's exactly what Pittsburgh's been doing with them road graders up front, Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. I think if they touch the ball 10 plus times, 10 actually no, I'll say 15 plus times for Najee, 12 to 15 times for um, Jalen. I think that there's a real shot that they shorten this game and they keep it a close scoring game, and it plays into their favor to where maybe they have that shot at the end. I don't see what we have seen from the Texans against the Browns, and I don't see what the Packers did to the Cowboys. I don't see that by any means, unless
No.
obviously Josh Allen comes out and throws two, three interceptions and gives the ball to Pittsburgh on the 10-yard line like Dak Prescott did. Yeah, I just threw some shade at the Cowboys, but um, it's I just don't see that happening. Josh Allen has been playing mistake-free football. With the setback of last week, whenever he played the Dolphins, and he had two horrible interceptions, one on fourth down, which ended up being like a punt, but um, he's been playing very well. Other than that, as far as not as keeping that ball safe and not turning the ball over and setting his team up for failure. Me personally, I think that the Steelers, like I said, the Steelers keep it close as long as they can run the ball. If they can't run the ball and it's solely on Mason, he has to throw the ball 40 times. I think the Steelers will be in trouble.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think it's really going to come down to just trying to get the run game going and Mason doing what he's been doing all season and taking care of the football, making sure that he's not throwing boneheaded interceptions because you can't turn the ball over against the Bills and get the ball back in Josh Allen's hands. You need to keep the ball away from Josh Allen because yeah, he throws his picks, but he also makes plays that are detrimental to the Bills' success. So you got to keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. And the best way to do that is by eating the clock, running the ball with Najee, Jalen Warren, and you got to get if you got to get some resemblance of a passing game going to keep the defense honest. You can't do what Matt Canada was doing, where like 11 guys are in the box
Right.
and Najee and Jalen Warren just running into the brick wall, brick wall, brick wall. Like you got to get George Pickens, and this is different than the Chiefs Dolphins game. Miami's a warm weather team. Pittsburgh, this is just another game. It's basically Heinz Field in Buffalo.
Yep.
So Pittsburgh's used to this weather. They can play in this climate. They've proven they can play in this climate. I think it's gonna be a classic, an old school, just grinded out football game.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that, honestly. And I think, with like you said, you can't just get complacent and just run the ball all three downs and punt it and hope for your defense gets a turnover or stop. You got to get that play action rolling. Honestly, the same thing that the Packers have done today. You got to get that run going, and it opens up them passes for Deontay, for Pat Fryermuth, for George Pickens, and get that team rolling and get them receivers rolling. If George Pickens has a big day, it's going to be a long day for Buffalo. I can tell you that right now. Um, but it is going to boil down to, is the offense stay consistent, and can the defense get off the field on them third downs and not let Josh Allen hurt them with his legs. Um, I mean, there's not too much to touch base on that game, uh, other than what we said. I mean, there's some key injuries, but there's also, it's not anything glaring that we haven't covered, or any special news that has come out over the last 24 hours saying, oh, this is new. So I'm on the Steelers plus 10. Uh, what do you think? You think Steelers cover the 10, or do you think Buffalo goes in there and just mops the floor with Pittsburgh?
I think the Steelers cover the 10. Yeah, I think the Steelers cover the 10. I'm gonna go with you on that.
You think that Buffalo squeaks out a win tomorrow?
Man, this to me is one of those. This one's tough. I
Almost
think
like a
it's I
coin
think
flip.
it's going to be. Yeah, I think it's going to be closer than people think. I think, like you said earlier, that people think that the Bills are just going to go in there and just dog walk Pittsburgh, and I don't. I really don't think that's going to be the case. I think the playing field's a little more even than people realize. Yeah, they're at home, they're in Buffalo, but like I said, this weather, it's it's Pittsburgh football, man. Like it's Pittsburgh weather. They don't. It's not gonna, like I said, it's not Miami Chiefs.
Yes.
It's gonna be a very even, cold weather outdoor teams just really going at it. I think I think on paper, I think the Bills should win.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the Bills should win just because of, once again, on paper, the firepower that they have. But like I said, Deion Dawkins, he has that hand injury. That's going to be one of those matchups you want to watch. Is
Yep.
Alex Highsmith going against Deion Dawkins and everything, and seeing if he can still get that punch or not. So if they can get in that backfield and terrorize him and keep him, you don't want Josh Allen to get out of the pocket, but you got to get pressure in his face to where he can't, scramble outside. If you do that, you keep him contained, you get him uncomfortable. That's whenever he starts throwing interceptions, when he starts throwing off his back foot and trusting his arm and just throwing away his mechanics.
Another big thing that that we didn't touch base on. Oh, we kind of did, but we didn't. But Pittsburgh got KZ and Minka back at safety coming into this
Huge,
game, which is huge.
huge.
KZ's that lay the lumber, uh, don't run over the middle because he's gonna lay you out type of player. But honestly, this is my thought process. The way Patrick Peterson has adjusted, and I know he has not played safety ever in his career, but he's played significant, and I think it's more of a detriment to Pittsburgh if Pat Peterson is lined up across from a corner than him being lined up at safety. Being at safety, he can kind of scan the field, navigate the field, and pick his reads and kind of watch the quarterback's eyes. So honestly, if it was me, I'm no defense coordinator, but if it was me, I'm running Minka as a roamer, and I'm running KZ and Pat P at cornerback or at safety. Sorry. Um, and leaving the corners the way they are, and just let Pat P play that center field style play, kind of like Charles Woodson did when he made that transition, and let Minka roam the field and bring him down in the box, put him up high, let him cover the tight ends because Kincaid is no joke. So let Minka cover the tight end. He can match him speed for speed, and Minka's a baller. He's going to do what he does. And I think that gives the Steelers the best recipe to shut this Bills offense down, having Pat P at safety, having KZ on the other side, and having Minka roam in the field. What do you think? Would you, is that something you would look into doing if you were a defensive coordinator for Pittsburgh?
Yeah, and we talked about it kind of mid-season. We were talking about Minka kind of having a down year, and like they were playing him as like a box safety. And then last year they used him kind of like the Ravens used Kyle Hamilton. They were using him as like that chess piece they just moved him everywhere. Like he was covering the slot, he's covering the tight end, and he was covering the running back coming out of the back. Like he was everywhere. But this year they played him in more of a box role, which isn't, he can do it, but it's not really his style.
Right.
So they need to get back to utilizing him where he is best suited, and that's as basically a free roamer, and use his coverage abilities, his speed, his athleticism, and they're going to need him because I think one of the sleeper guys that if Buffalo gets that passing game going, they got to keep a hat on Khalil Shakir.
Yes.
They got to keep a hat on him because
Speedster.
he's a burner. Yes, and he sneaks out, and a lot of teams it seems like they forget about him. Pittsburgh can't afford to forget about Shakir.
And to actually add on to that, it seems like when they run screenplays to Shakir, it always works. He's getting 15, 20, 30 yards. And I'm not sure why or what they're doing, but it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to sit here and dwell back and forth on the Bills and Steelers game. 4:30 kickoff. It's going to be great. Can't wait for the game. Hopefully Pittsburgh pulls it off, and they head to Baltimore next week, and that'll be an awesome podcast for us, considering you're
Hmm.
a Baltimore fan and Pittsburgh, and I'm a Steelers fan. So, but obviously I know how you feel about Pittsburgh coming to Baltimore, but it is what it is. So let's move on to the Philadelphia Tampa game, and let's see. What do you think, Philly Tampa? I know we touched base on it. I know we said we sat there and laughed. Tampa and Philly, like Philly can't lose. Um, what's your thoughts with this game? I know we touched base on it, but what's your thoughts? Have you changed from over the last 24 hours with the video we posted Saturday? Any other thoughts?
uh, this is another one of them games that can go either way, and more so than and for a different reason than the Bills Steelers. These are just two floundering teams, and I think it really throws a wrench in it. Is Baker Mayfield going to be able to play, and how healthy is he going to be? That's the biggest concern right now for Tampa Bay. but I still think Philly should pull it out.
I agree. Wh- let's flip the script. What do you think Tampa has to do to win the game?
I think Tampa Bay needs to play their style of ball. Last couple weeks, it's been more Godwin, less Mike Evans. I think that they need to get both guys involved. They need to get Mike Evans involved, Chris Godwin involved, but they need to utilize Rashad White, use his running abilities, but also he's a great receiving back. So get him get him rolling, on both ends, receiving and rushing, and just try to establish a balanced offense against this Philadelphia defense because right now, Darius Slay's playing, but on the other side, if you got Godwin, who's going to cover Godwin? I like Bradbury, but he's had a pretty down year this
Yeah,
year,
yeah.
and they've had a lot of blown coverages. Sidney Brown's not playing. Their rookie safety, who's played really well this year. So it's kind of it's kind of on Baker Mayfield. Are you going to be healthy enough to go out there and put on a performance, or is it going to be one of the things where you're more of a liability or not? But I think that's what they need to do. They need to be able to establish a run, get a balanced offense going, keep the Eagles' defense honest, keep them on their heels, and the defense side of the ball, you got to get turnovers. Jalen Hurts, he's had some fumble issues, had some interceptions, can't really get the run game goes in spurts. They don't have A.J. Brown. There's a lot of things that are working against Philly. So Philly's going to have to play a different style of ball now that A.J. Brown's not playing. Devontae Smith's going to have to step up, which he can, will, and does. Get Dallas Goedert involved. So if Tampa Bay can keep that defense, if they can play physical ball and get hands on Devontae Smith, get hands on Dallas Goedert, I think they have a chance.
I couldn't agree more, honestly. uh, and who knows what Philly team shows up? I am still on the Philadelphia Eagles. I am. Just I can't get off of them. Just I know they've had a complete meltdown, but I just I can't see them dismantling that bad to where it's over. I think they at least get one game in the playoffs. I don't have high hopes for them moving forward. After unless they come out and they look like the Philadelphia Eagles from week 3. But I don't see a very high hope for the Eagles moving forward. But I do think they take this game, and I think you hit everything on the head. Uh, the Buccaneers they have to come out, stop the run, and honestly blanket Devonta Smith and make someone else beat you. Whether it's Goddard or whoever, I think that is the way Tampa Bay. That's the recipe for Tampa Bay to win this game. But I'm leaning on the Eagles. I think they come out and they show what they're capable of and what they have been doing all season. Well, at the beginning of the season, I can't say all season. At the beginning of the season, they come out and say, "Hey, we're here. We haven't completely. Yeah, we've dismantled in the last what 6 games, 7 games, but we're still the Eagles. We're still a dominant team in this league, and I think they pull it out. Honestly, um, but the recipe for them to win is the same recipe for the Buccaneers to win. They got to come out. They got to be able to stop the run. They got to stop Ricard White, and they have to be able to run the ball on their side of the on their on when they're on offense. That's the only way, especially with Jalen Hurts' banged up finger being dislocated. I mean, that ain't no joke having a
No.
dislocated finger. Um, so I just I can't see the Eagles losing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't think it's in the cards. I don't think it's possible. Uh, we've been on an absolute tear with these picks, and I'm still gonna ride it. Philadelphia -3. Um, the over unders 43. Neither of these offenses have been super high octane, and especially with AJ Brown being down, I don't see it. Granted, I know Devonta is a very big topped off the defense type of player, but and same with Mike Evans and Godwin if Godwin's out there. But banged up Baker Mayfield, banged up Jalen Hurts. I think it's going to be one of them games where they're going to lean. Both teams are going to lean on their running backs and the tush push. So I just can't see Philadelphia losing. The recipe for Philadelphia is just it's I can't see them, especially at the embarrassing loss with the Giants last week. I mean, they got embarrassed. No one can say that the Eagles didn't have their starters in. Yeah, they didn't have their starters in after they were down 21 points. But uh, I just I think they have something to prove, especially Nick Sirianni and that defensive coordinator. If the Eagles go down early in this game, he better be fired at halftime because I don't know what happened to that defense. I don't know where it went, especially with that front that they have. That it's the nastiest front seven in the league. I mean, and they're doing their job, but teams aren't running on them because they know that. And granted, teams are running the ball, and the Eagles are giving up runs. But you double team Jalen Carter, get him out the way, and these running backs are getting to the second level, and their linebackers are missing tackles, and then it's off to the races with the safeties and cornerbacks. So, and then whenever the Eagles think they're in a run position and they try to stack the box, they just come out and pass it because the cornerbacks just have not been doing their job, and it's looked bad. It's looked very bad. Um, yeah, I mean this is going to be a pretty quick and short video considering that we covered the Eagles and the Steelers and Buffalo and Tampa, but we definitely wanted to get this video out there and get our picks out there and lean on it and kind of just talk about what's going on. Uh, Dallas is actually it's kind of funny. Dallas is within 16 points right now. Uh,
Yeah, I was watching this game, and I'm like, Green Bay, what are you doing?
it would be wild if Dallas comes back and they get the onside kick and score again to go into overtime. Be the big. It would have to be the biggest meltdown in NFL history. But
Yeah,
I mean, stranger things have happened, so you never know. And the score looks way more respectful than it actually this game actually has been. The Dallas Cowboys have been absolutely in a box. I mean, and they did exactly what they had to do by locking up CeeDee Lamb. I mean, granted, CeeDee Lamb does have 110 yards, but CeeDee Lamb has also been kind of the first half. CeeDee Lamb was shut out. I mean, it was bad. It didn't look good. The miscommunications. It looked like. Um, touch base on the Lions and Rams game again. Actually, since I mean we got a little bit of time to talk about it. Um,
yeah.
the Detroit Lions. The more and more I look at it, the new pick for the Lions game, if anyone's watching, is the Lions -3. I think they cover the spread. Um, I just, I think MCDC has that team ready. I think that he has that team firing on all cylinders. I think he has them fired up. I think they feed off of him and his energy. I truly believe that the Lions come in as a prove it. We're not. We didn't just win the division because our division's soft. We won our division because we belong in the playoffs. What do you think? Do you think that the Rams are going to feed more off of Sean McVay, or do you think the Lions are going to feed more off of MCDC?
I think the Lions are going to feed more off the MCDC. I think that he has that team just like they truly believe in him, and they may not be the world beater, big name players or whatever. They have some guys that you may not have heard of, but I mean they give everything they got to that man. I mean, and it's a testament to him as a head coach, and it's honestly it's a testament to what Detroit's been able to do over the last few years. So I think that he inspires these guys. He's going to get the best out of them no matter what. And in a game like that against the Rams, we talked about it. It's for Detroit. It's just slowing down Cup, slowing down Nakua. That's their biggest that's their biggest hurdle, man. Yeah, that's their biggest hurdle is trying to get their banged up secondary to keep up with these receivers that and Matthew Stafford the way he zips that ball. I mean, he can get in some tight windows. So that's that's gonna be what to watch with that game in particular. But I think Detroit can pull it out. I will say, I don't the Lions don't want to get behind early.
No.
because
Yeah.
Jared Goff's not built for that. I'm sorry, I'm not dogging the guy. He's played really well. He's played really respectable, and it's nothing against him, but he's not. He gets frazzled whenever he has to when they put the game on him. Whenever they have to throw the ball, like they can't hand it off to Montgomery and Gibbs. Like they have to throw the ball. He gets he gets all out of whack and everything else. But Laporta's going to be there limited, so that's his safety blanket. So hopefully Detroit can kind of match them tit for tat, or at least keep it a close game, so that they don't have to put it solely on Jared Goff's shoulders.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that on breakdown. Honestly, especially with they got to get that run game going, and they kind of gonna they got to control it because the Los Angeles Rams are sneaky good. I mean, they're super high octane on offense with Nakua and the running back Tyron, and then obviously you have Cooper Cup who's been doing it. Came on the scene a couple years ago, just showing out. So I mean, they're sneaky good. They have a lot of weapons, but you can only hope to slow it down and contain it. Um, I agree with you. Jared Goff isn't built for a come from behind win, especially if they get down big. Uh, they just don't have it in them. I mean, yeah, they have the big play capability in Jameer Gibbs and Amon St. Brown and JMO, but I just don't think that they are built to get quick scores. They're not built to hurry up down the field and say it's fourth quarter and they're down 21 points. I just don't see it. The defense isn't going to get those big key stops. Just and it's I mean maybe they will, but this entire year they haven't been able to. So I think they need to, like you said, they need to get out and they need to get ahead and they need to get rolling quick. And honestly, to add to that, I liked what the Packers did this game. They won the coin toss and they elected to receive. I think Dan Campbell needs to take this ball on offense, walk down this field, and say we are the real deal, and put points on the board the first drive. I think that sets the tone in that stadium. Uh, and honestly, I like whenever teams receive the ball, especially whenever they're doubted. And a lot of people are doubting the Lions. It's about a 50-50 split on where the money's at on the spread, but it a lot of people have their doubts with Detroit, and I know Detroit fans are going to be loud. They're going to be proud. I mean, this is a monumental game, and I think they need to rattle the Rams early. They need to rattle Stafford, and I think that's the recipe for them winning this game.
No, absolutely. I think we talked about it earlier a little bit, but I they got to get Aiden Hutchinson. They got that. The Rams
Yeah.
have that suspect offensive line, and you get him going. You get Aquara going. You got Pascal going. I think Salim McNeil, another guy, probably one of, if not the most underrated nose tackle in the league. I know nose tackles aren't like, they're not sexy or whatever, but he gets the job done, and he can disrupt the run. He blows up the run game, and he gets pressure on the quarterback. So it's really exploiting that offensive line of the Rams.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Like I said, I didn't want to keep this video all the way until kickoff. I wanted to get it out there, get it up and running. Um, with that being said, any closing thoughts? Anything like that?
No, no, I'm just happy we've had a really good weekend of football. So I'm excited for the next few games that are coming up tonight and tomorrow.
Couldn't agree more. With that being said, we went 2-0 yesterday. We are 2-0 right now today with the college football or college basketball pick that I gave out early game. I said it on the podcast, lock it in, put your house on it. I don't give a damn what you have to do. They're covering, and they almost covered by 20. They almost covered the spread double. So let's go 3-0 today. Let's lock in Detroit Lions -3. And if you want to, sprinkle the over. Don't go crazy. Just put a little bit on the over, the number. But the main lock is Detroit Lions -3. Lock it in. So we got Detroit Lions -3. We have Pittsburgh Steelers +10, and we have the Philadelphia Eagles -3. You like the picks? You rolling with them? You like them?
No, I dig it.
All right. With that being said, we are Brandon and Steven with BS Draftcast because all we do is BS about football.